Glass Princess, an article, a noun used as an adjective and a noun. Alone they're innocent enough, but together they're the title of the worst piece of pony media ever made in the 20th century. Anyway, with the departure of George Arthur Bloom as the writer of Ponies, the people in charge had the brilliant idea of turning to the writers for their other shows for the scripts, well, after Diane Duane's standalone episode. Our first episode in the experiment was A Glass Princess, written by Tracy Mann Hill and Michael Charles Hill. Michael was an associate producer for the Transformers and wrote a few notable episodes like Starscream's Brigade, which introduced us to the Combaticons. And these two wrote a god-awful story. I'll forgive the crappy production values of this show, however, I don't have the same mercy for terrible writing. And I don't even want to call this writing. They disregard even the most basic rules of storytelling in this episode. It's like they didn't even care. It's like they figured the girls watching only cared about seeing pretty ponies on the screen and were not bothered by the fact that the story was a jumbled mess of events just thrown up on the screen willy-nilly. It's an insult to their audience and to the series. What's truly saddening is this is typically the example people who hate the original series use to say how bad the series was as a whole. Everything bad My Little Pony has been accused of is on full display here, except I don't think... there weren't any tea parties, so... And seriously, where does the whole Tea Party thing come up with? I have yet to see one. If The Glass Princess is your only exposure to the original series, I honestly can't blame you for hating it. This episode is as bad as you think it is. Anyway, let's just get to the actual episode and get this over with. Part 1 opens with a banner announcing the Pony Olympics, which will be important for about 5 minutes. The ponies are training for the games, like the Pegasi are flying around balloons held aloft by Gusty. She then randomly lets them down so the baby ponies can try to hold them aloft with their breath. Okay, that makes absolutely no sense. With the Earth ponies, we're introduced to Magic Star's new voice. Magic Star had such a nice voice in the movie. Well, kiss that goodbye. Her new voice talent makes her sound like a young boy to me. Magic Star is the coach of the Earth ponies as they practice hurdle jumping. Shady's up first and fails.
Try again, Shady. And this time the rest of you follow after her.
I see your intelligence has gone the same way as your voice, Magic Star, downhill. We switch over to the Raptorians. My best description of them is what a 3-year-old would think of when they hear the word birddog. The only thing worse than their looks are their voices, which make Magic Star sound like an angel in comparison. We're not even 80 seconds into this episode, my auditory nerves are already holding a strike vote. Anyway, these mismatched abominations of nature eyes some clothing hanging on a line from Paradise Estate. Apparently, Megan and her siblings bring their laundry to Dream Valley. They tackle the line and call someone named Porcina a small crystal ball. We cut to said Porcina, a pig woman looking at herself in a mirror with hearts in her eyes and gushing about how gorgeous she is, even going so far as to kissing her reflection in the mirror. Oi! If she was any more in love with herself, she'd turn into a flower. Actually, that wouldn't be such a bad idea. Boom! Flower. Episode over. Sadly, this episode is far from being done with us.
I'm so gorgeous today.
Far, far from being done with us. The pig woman receives a message from the Raptorians in her mirror. This pisses her off because she can't see herself anymore. Apparently she sent them out to find material to repair or replace her magic cloak, which is ready for the rag-out box. However, she needs magical material, not ordinary clothes, so she can turn things into glass and then use that glass to look at herself. Take note, she's surrounded by mirrors. How much glass do you need, lady? The Raptorians seem to have an agenda of their own. They want a kingdom they can have all to themselves. Well, maybe the plot will be okay. We've got two forces working together, but secretly working towards their own goals. That's often led to some good stories. So, we then cut to Molly.
He loves me not. He loves me, he loves me not. He loves me!
No! Just no! I consider almost everything open for mocking. I have sunk to the level of making beaver jokes at Queen Yamo's expense on Futago Hime. However, I do have standards. I do have limits. There are places even I won't go. Shady shows up and whines about how much she sucks. She's worried everyone else thinks that she sucks too. However, Molly gets her to go and actually ask them. I mean, it's not like sparklers in this series. The Raptorians find the ponies and watch them do stuff. They're astounded by their abilities and think they're magic. This includes Heartthrob using her wings to fly. Hey, you have wings and can fly. Does that make you magic, you mangy idiots? They call Porcina and suggest turning their hair into a fabric that they can make a new cloak out of. She likes this idea.
We'll see me.
Excuse me for not jumping for joy here. The Raptorians come back to Porcina rummaging through some junk and breaking into a song about looking at her. I don't want to look at you! Back with Shady, she goes back to complaining about how badly she sucks. Lickety-Split, Gusty, and Heartthrob try to advise her, but Lickety-Split talks about not having the right flavor of ice cream while she's chowing down on some, and Heartthrob suggests a costume party so that she can segue into asking how the dress she's suddenly wearing looks. Yeah, that's all girls care about. Urgh. Gusty actually suggests something useful in practicing, but Shady has been practicing and hasn't gotten any better. I guess she does suck. She and Molly leave in time for the Raptorians to come back and snag the three in a net and carry them off. It should be noted that they were not too far from just about everyone else, yet no one notices three things fly in and take three ponies. Forgetting the fact that Gusty could defeat these stupid idiots all by herself, they shouldn't have gotten away that cleanly. Part 2 opens with the Bush Woolies seeing the abduction and heading to Paradise Estate to tell the ponies. They're leaving Hare behind because it's Bush Woolies shedding season. Surprisingly, for how disjointed the episode was, them leaving Hare everywhere was almost perfectly consistent. The Raptorians land in the Black Mountains with their catch, and Heartthrob has mysteriously lost her outfit. Just accept the fact things won't match from part to part except for Bush Woolly Hare. I'm surprised they managed to remember which ponies were captured and which were sent to get them. Surprisingly, Gusty doesn't take the opportunity to blast them off a cliff. She instead hides her headband. The Raptorians herd them inside. And in the meantime, the ponies and company are suddenly all at Paradise Estate.
Geronimo! Yeah! Danny!
Sorry, Danny is feeling a little rambunctious today.
Today!
Best joke of the whole episode, people. The Bushwoys then show up in a scene that takes way too long as they all fall into the pool and then all have to get out. All the while we have to listen to unintelligible chatter. Please, my ears can't take it. They finally get around to telling everyone about the abduction, which the ponies should have been there to see and try to stop. Megan decides to go after them with 3 ponies and Bushwoys, or the same number of ponies that Birddogs easily captured. She tells the rest to stay behind in case they escape. This hits 2 anger points with me. 1, once again, Megan has to act like the pony's dead mother, and 2, it's a stupid idea! If anything, she should have had the bulk of the adults come with her, and a few staying behind with the babies. That way they could have covered more ground, posed more of a threat when they reached them. Considering that they're going into high terrain and facing an airborne enemy, every Pegasus should have gone. However, that would cost money, and God forbid Hasbro have to spend money on this series. She then shows up wondering what she can do better than any other pony. Well, you got whining and self-loathing down pat. She learns from those who stayed behind the ponies she had just been talking to got abducted. This gives her a whole nother reason to whine about herself, because not only does she suck, but now she's a deserter. Ugh. I'm not going to bother with the song because I want to talk about my problem with Shady. My problem with Shady is not that she's depressed. A character with a negative personality is perfectly fine so long as they're used correctly. My problem is that Shady is a depressing character to concentrate on. Unlike Sundance and Escape from Katrina, Shady's like this all the time and doesn't have someone like Sparkler bitching at her constantly to make her feel this way. She's constantly beating herself up and does nothing to solve her problems but only makes them seem bigger in her mind. She even blocks out the help from her friends when they try to give it to her. If they had just toned down her character a tad, she would have been likable or even lovable. As she is, I just can't sympathize with her because her complaints so over the top and her problems seem impossible to solve. It's just aggravating to watch her when she's like this.
Maybe we better follow the trail, and we could be extra help for everyone in case they need it.
That's a brave idea. Let's go.
Thanks for proving me wrong, though this comes so out of nowhere for her personality. I think I just got whiplash. Porcina gives us a nice, and by nice I mean nasty, shot of her ass as she comes in to inspect the prisoners and their hair. She likes it, but she wants it cleaned. Come on, Gusty, at least gore or something. You're quickly losing badass points. With a throwaway scene out of the way, we check in on the search party. They've reached the Black Mountains and found Gusty's headband. Magic Star also finds a rock that looks like a door, however they can't push it down. Too bad they didn't think of bringing more ponies to help push it down or look for another entrance. Not to worry though, the Bushwoolies are here. Apparently their grandfather lived in these mountains. Grandfather, as in grandfather of them all? Apparently they are tribbles. They say they can find another entrance but walk around in circles. You have no idea how soul-crushing it is. I can't even take joy in the Bushwoolies' antics in this episode. The three captives are put on the conveyor belt to the wash. Porcina tries to secure them with shackles of glass, but they're so weak they shatter immediately. The Raptorians have to tie the ponies down. I'm still waiting for Gusty to do something but stand there. Maybe they should have had the Raptorians grab Ribbon or Galaxy instead, because they have no offensive magic, or perhaps not grab a unicorn, period, or maybe just throw the script in the incinerator since only fire could smite such a foul creation. We get what is immediately hilarious as the three go through your typical car wash setup. I don't know why Porcina would have this thing, but it's fun to watch. Raptorians then come in to give them horrible makeup jobs for some reason before sending them ahead. After a short scene where Shady decides to save everyone herself, we see the Raptorians ready to do some barber work. They also reveal Porcina intends to turn Ponyland into glass. This would be a good time to blast these things into next week, Gusty. Speaking of next week, I'm going to stop right here at the halfway point. All I got to say right now is, make it stop!